So Brock and Barrett got to question Johnston and oh my, this got heated really fast.
Justin Trudeau, as a private citizen before entering into politics, told CBC Radio that you were a great dinner companion. He specifically said, quote, "We had great conversations around dinner tables, around all sorts of things." This was said around the same time that you were being appointed as our Governor General. Were you aware of that statement, sir?
Madam Chair, I was not aware of that statement in connection with Mr. Trudeau. My meeting with him occurred when he was 10 or 11 years old, skiing with my children 4 or 5 times.
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. We'll get into those areas. My time is very limited, sir. Sir, I got another question for you. As Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau described you as a lifelong family friend, a friendship cemented over many summers as neighboring cottagers in the Laurentians. You never corrected the Prime Minister in his characterization of your relationship with him. Isn't that correct?
Madam Chair, the connection I had with Mr. Trudeau...
Mr. Johnston, I apologize for interrupting you, but the question is, did you...
I'm going to pause. I didn't think it'd be this early into the meeting, Mr. Brock. You and I have had an exchange before, so you know very well that comments are through the chair. I can assure you that the Prime Minister and I have not gone to the cottage together. And so I would just say that if we can just pause and take a second, that's why I wanted to provide a little bit more time. I will provide leniency to ensure that we get to where you need to get to.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the question to Mr. Johnston was, did you characterize or did you change that statement that Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister made to you about you being a lifelong family friend cemented over many summers as neighboring cottagers in the Laurentians? Did you confirm or deny that, sir?
Madam Chair, I was not familiar with the statement that has just been made. I was friends of the father of Mr. Trudeau through his life in politics, and when we tried to engage him with the University of Montreal to be a professor on his return. My last particular meeting with the current Prime Minister...
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. I'm going to be getting into areas where you can expand upon things that you've done with the Prime Minister. I need to move on. My time is limited. In 2016, 6 years into your role as Governor General, you gave an interview to the CTV. You were asked about your views of having the Trudeau family living on the grounds of Rideau Hall. Without pause or hesitation, you said it was wonderful because their children played with your grandchildren in the garden. That was pretty exciting to have the next generation together, bringing the place alive. That statement was accurate, correct?
Madam Chair, I don't remember that particular statement, but it is true that the Trudeau family lived in
Thank you, Mr. Johnston. You further stated in the same interview that the Trudeaus were very good tenants.
Point of order, Mr. Turnbull.
Seen now repeated, Mr. Brock cutting off the witness.
Okay, at this point there was a point of order and they tried to put over the thing that maybe Johnston could actually answer some of these questions, even though these questions would have been good for a yes or no, or I didn't know, or I do know. But he doesn't seem to know much anyway, so carry on.
My time is very limited. The question was centered on as to whether or not the statement was accurate. It did not require the witness to elaborate. Now let's fast forward to your press conference of May the 23rd. You were on record stating the following basic facts of your so-called friendship with Justin Trudeau. Your words, sir, that when your children were ages 7 to 12, you had a condo at the foot of Mount Tremblant. Pierre Elliott Trudeau had a country home 50 kilometers away. On 5 occasions over 7 years, he and his 3 kids came and parked their car in the lot. On one occasion, you drove the kids back to their mother's house. You knew Justin Trudeau as a student at McGill. You had no contact with Justin Trudeau until he was an elected MP and later as Prime Minister. The point is, for 40 years, you said, sir, I had no contact with JT, Justin Trudeau, not as a friend. Those are the facts. Later that day, you interviewed with CTV anchor Omar Sakajina and stated your relationship with Justin Trudeau was an unfortunate allegation. You largely confirmed the same details as your press conference, but changed the frequency of ski trips to 5 occasions over 2 to 3 years as opposed to over 7 years. Now, Mr. Johnston, what we had before this committee are 2 completely different descriptions of your relationship with Justin Trudeau. Those 2 different descriptions cannot be accurate at the same time. So my question is simple and direct, Mr. Johnston. Were you telling Canadians the truth on May the 23rd or back in 2016?
Madam Chair, telling the truth with connection with my relationship with Prime Minister Trudeau goes back to when our children were teenagers, and during the course of almost 40 years, we had no meetings, no dinners at one another's homes, no particular contact. Was a friend of the father, etc., but those were the extent of the contacts.
And now it's Michael Barrett's turn to grill Johnston on his role in the Trudeau Foundation. Take it away, Michael.
Sir, you were a member of the Trudeau Foundation until your appointment to this position. Is that correct?
I was a member, Madam Chair, I was a member of the Trudeau Foundation, member of the association, which is like shareholders in general meeting of the Trudeau Foundation, not a member of the board of directors. I joined it in 2018, just a year or so after I'd stepped down as Governor General, because I've had a very long concern and interest in student support, graduate student scholarships. And the role as a member of the association is to attend annual general meetings, to vote in the board of directors.
Thank you,
I
sir.
have had nothing to do whatsoever with any of the decision-making of the Trudeau Foundation.
Were you aware of the reporting that the Trudeau Foundation was targeted for a foreign influence campaign by Beijing and that the foundation accepted $140,000 from the communist dictatorship in Beijing?
Madam Chair, the first knowledge I had of that particular gift was when it appeared in the newspaper. And as a member of the association, I received a memo from the CEO, like I think other members of the association, that
Thank you, sir.
had started a press release indicating that that gift was being returned.
Thank you for confirming your knowledge of it. Given your ties to the foundation's involvement with Beijing, and Beijing's role in your report, do you see a conflict of interest?
Madam Chair, my connection with the association of the Trudeau Foundation had no role whatsoever with the decision-making of the board of directors, the acceptance of gifts and so on.
Thank you, sir.
And
Wow, so this is what it must be by having a selective memory. Very handy if you're a politician or a rapporteur. Okay, leaves a comment. What do you think? Do you think he's telling the truth?